Welcome to Pocket Watchers. I'm your host, Treetop Chris. On this show, we talk about nurturing your wealth and cultivating your future through financial education. Let's talk finance, people. Peace, family. It's your boy, Treetop Chris, checking in with another episode of Pocket Watchers. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. We now have a new time on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Previously we were on at Wednesday at 6. I got a quick show for you all today. Hopefully I got some good information towards the end of this year. I think this is the absolute last show before the end of the year. 2024, y'all. Y'all ready? Because I'm not. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it. But, I've been making some strides. I've been trying to get everything in position so that I can have the best information for you all. I've been working on a course. A lot of people have been reaching out to me about my course. A lot of my clients, I've shown you the course in person on the calls. For the people who don't know, I do coaching, and a lot of my clients are happy. None of them are mad. But, hey to everybody that's joining from TikTok. Peace to everybody that's joining on YouTube. We're live streaming on TikTok right now. So if you listen to the radio, this is pre-recorded. So just keep that in mind. If you want to hear this live, it's going to be every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you want to catch the re-recording, there's two ways to do it. That first way is going to be at 1 p.m. on WOLBbaltimore.com. You can listen to me live on Tuesdays at 1, or you can go on YouTube at Treetop Chris, Treetop Finance, and you can watch the entire show all over again. Any type of information that I give you, in which case, man, we've talked about everything since my first show. I think this is like episode 13, I believe. We've talked about everything from real estate to mental capacity, financial literacy. We talked about life insurance. We talked about social media influence. We talked about making money on social media. What we would call that, I guess we can call that monetization. We've had multiple episodes, but all the episodes are just topics that we talk about, but mostly these are things that I discuss with my clients. So again, everybody, thank you for joining in. We got the show today is going to be about, group economics, y'all. How many of y'all want to really like getting money with your friends and family? Some of us don't. Some of us have been burned by our friends and family. Actually, some of us have been hurt by friends and family more than our friends. Some people just don't even want to work with other people. Some people hate dealing with other people when it comes to business. But one thing that I definitely wanted to talk about was that, and it's mainly because of my little brother. He actually came to me, him and one of his friends, I think he plays college football. I forgot what team he plays for. One thing about me, I know about sports, but I know more about finance than I know about sports. I don't try to understand the conversation, but I do like the excitement of sports. I like going to games and stuff like that. But I can't come up with the names of the players and stuff like that. But long story short, he got a scholarship to go play football, and he was visiting us over the weekend. My brother's also in the Army, so shout out to everybody that's in the service. Respect. We wouldn't be here without a lot of you and your predecessors, the people who came before you in the armed forces. So respect to y'all. Peace and love. But he came to me and said, Chris, man, me and a few of my friends, we wanna get into investing, but we want to do it with about maybe 2 or 3 people. I say, okay, that's cool. Group economics is great. I've had good and bad experiences with group economics. I've had people that I've worked with. Everything has went smoothly up until a certain point. I've had everything go dramatically trash. It was horrible the whole entire way. I've had both experiences. I've also had it where it's been up and down, but I just wanted to give an example before I go into what I suggested for him to do. And that was when I got into wholesaling. So we got a whole episode about, real estate and things of that nature. But, when I first got into the game, I think it was 2019, 2018. At that point in time, it was a gentleman that was here. I'm not going to shout out too many names. I don't want to bring him out there. I might have to pay the guy if I say his name. But anyway, it was a guy that was coming up in the wholesaling game in Baltimore, and he was really explaining what wholesaling was at the point in time. It wasn't a lot of people that were doing wholesaling. There wasn't a lot of people that was online talking about buying a house for little no money down and then selling it and making money in real estate. So it was very important that I kind of align myself with this individual, because at that point I was doing good in IT and I wanted a way to invest, and I didn't know too much. Like a lot of y'all that listen to me, you out just searching for information. Some people out there that already know what's going on. They already got good ideas when it come to investing and making money, but it's a lot of people that just out here just ripping and running, trying to figure out a way to get out of the rat race. And real estate seems like the most common and easiest way, in which case is also very difficult. So don't let anybody tell you that it's easy to get in real estate. It's not. It's never passive. First off, it's never passive, y'all. I want y'all to listen to me very, very clearly. When it comes to passive money, there's no such thing as making passive money when it comes to real estate. Even if you're a landlord and you got enough properties to pay your bills, you got to maintain those properties, man. You got to deal with the tenants. You got to go to court. You got to fix the property. It's not passive. But anyway, so this gentleman, he was doing really, really well. He's showing these checks with $15,000 on it, $20,000 on it, on flips, on real estate, and he's not doing fix and flips. I'm like, how's this guy doing this? So just a brief description of what wholesaling is. Basically, you find a property, you get the property for a discount, and then you get the owner to sign a document that says they'll sell it to you. And that document, you can actually sell that document to the next person and they can close on the deal. Let me say that again. You get a contract for interest in a property or a sale agreement in the contract, right? Once you have a sale agreement between you and the buyer or the seller, then you can go to someone else who has more money and say, hey, I got this property for, say, $250,000. Are you willing to give me $275,000 for it? Now, if the house is worth $400,000, that still might be a good deal to the person that's trying to buy from you. And in the money that you make in between, that's your wholesale fee. And of course, we talked about this in previous episodes, but he was doing it on a grand scale. He had VAs calling people. You ever got them calls? Are you looking to sell your house cash? Those signs that be on the side of the road to say, we'll buy your house cash. These are wholesalers. So at that point in time, the gentleman was doing a course on wholesaling. I think his course was $945 at the time. $945 for a course that was going to teach me how to make $10,000, $20,000. I said that was a good deal. So I started following him. He ended up on the Breakfast Club. He ended up being really famous. And this was right around the time Wallow came out. So if you on the social media, you know who Wallow is. He's a big influencer in the world, in our world, I guess we can call the culture. He's not necessarily too big on finance, but he does touch on finance with the people that he brings on the show on $1 million worth of game. So shout out to them. But that was the day I actually met Wallow at the event where I was following this gentleman, learning about wholesaling. But anyway, I tried to work with the gentleman. I was trying to get the money up at the time. I didn't have good savings. So I always tell people that follow me, you always have 6 months to a year worth of savings. At that point in time, I was so focused on getting the bag, I wasn't even thinking about having my savings. Like sometimes you don't even realize, like, all right, I'm getting paid every week. I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. I'm getting paid once a month. You don't think like, all right, that money will stop immediately, especially those people who's been in a job situation for a couple years. If you've been in that same position for a couple years and you're going to get paid, some people just don't save up that $1,000, $2,000 at minimum savings that I always tell people to have. You need at least 6 months worth of expenses at all time. And that was something that I didn't have. I just had money that I would have randomly. And I say, all right, I'm going to do this course. I'm going to pay $1,000 for this course. I'm going to pay $2,000 for this course. At that point in time, remember, his course was $945. So when I went to him again, when I had the money, he said, no, man, my price went up. I said, okay, your price went up. How much is it now? It says $10,000. I said, oh, goodness gracious. $10,000, man. It was $945. Right before he changed the price, right? He said, I really want to take care of my people. I'm doing this for people. It's not about the money. It's XYZ. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I hit him like this. Me, I'm a haggler at the end of the day. I'm pretty cheap. Even though I spend money on quality goods, I still try to save money any way or shape I can. So I said, look, dude, I know your course was $945. This was literally the week before. I said, can I still get it at that price since I've been talking to you for a while? He said, no, flat out, straight, no. Didn't even look me in the eyes. He like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I said, all right, cool. So if it's 10,000, can I just give you the proceeds from the money that I make on my first 2 or 3 deals to pay you the 10,000? And he's like, no, I would never do nothing like that. He turned his back on me and walked away. I was like, man. I'm like, wow, he said I was doing it for the people. I asked him to give me, not even a discount. I said, you could have the money I make up front. That's not a bad deal. I mean, you tell me if it's a bad deal. Y'all listening to me, hit me up in the DM, shoot me a message like, Chris, man, is it a good deal? Like if you got a program that's 10 grand and the first 3-4 deals can be anywhere from $1,000 to $50,000. And I'm giving you my first 3 deals just so that you can teach me what you know. Is that a bad deal? Let me know. But anyway, that was my first crack at group economics. So I'm like, all right, he didn't want to teach me. So what I ended up doing, I found another course. And that course, it was from somebody that was from Phoenix, Arizona. So again, I'm talking to you from Baltimore for the people that's online. People that's already on the radio, y'all know we're in the Baltimore, DC area. Baltimore, DC, Virginia area. This guy, he was in Phoenix, Arizona, but he taught me everything I needed to know about wholesaling. Everything that he taught me was what the guy learned, and he was selling to people for $10,000 a person. I said, okay, that's crazy. We ready to rock and roll. I got the sauce now. So what I'm going to do to make the money. So I immediately went into business. He taught me how to hire people to make the phone calls. He taught me how to go through the entire transaction. So I found myself in Delaware doing wholesaling. And it went pretty smoothly, but I felt like I needed some help so that I could cover more ground more quickly. If they say if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. And that's another reason why group economics is so powerful. And a lot of communities actually practice group economics, not all of them, especially I ain't going to talk about my own community and how we do with group economics. But back to what I was doing with wholesaling. So I got 2 friends of mine. One of them was a friend of mine that was in IT with me again. I got 13 years of IT prior to getting into my own entrepreneurship. For the people who have just started listening, that's what I use to leverage my income from IT to get into entrepreneurship. And I always tell people, look, get you a 9-to-5, get you a good job that's going to finance your escape from the rat race. Don't drop everything cold turkey and just be like, hey man, I'm going to do this unless you have the support to do it. Some people, the mental is the hardest part. But if you got some help and you want to step out there on the bridge and take a risk, go ahead and do it. But I always tell people leverage the money they got already if they want to be an entrepreneur. Don't quit your job in the hopes that your business will take off first. Get the money first and then start the business. Get the money first and then start the business. So I had the money first. So I started the business. My operating costs, we talk about OpEx, CapEx. These are different coin terms when you're doing business. Operating expenses and capital expenditures. My operating expenditure monthly when I was running wholesaling was about $980 a month. I was spending almost $1,000 a month on my wholesaling situation. So when I came to people and I voiced that I was doing wholesaling and I needed some help, I said, look, it's only going to cost us $900 to $1,000 a month to run this whole entire business. And in which case, at times we would make $3,000 on the low end, $15,000 on the high end. We might do 1 or 2 deals in a month. Every couple months, we might have a month or 2 where we don't make any money, and then we might make 12 grand. But the whole thing was it was 3 of us. So one of my partners, he didn't want to go over the operating expenses that we were using in the beginning. My other partner was like, hey, man, I'm ready to throw some more money at this so we can expand quicker. So when you go into business, before you even go into business with a group of people, remember, we're talking group economics here, y'all. Y'all got to make sure on paper in the operators agreement, because we started our own LLC. This is where Treetop Financial Group first started. It was a wholesaling company. When I first started the company and I started with my partners, I put literature, phrases, things in the contract to let them know how much percentage they had in the company, one. Two, how we would dissolve the company if everything went left. What left meaning if everything went bad, how would we close the company down? But mainly what people responsibilities was in the group. So we talking about group economics. We not talking about I got this idea, we gonna start a business and we just do it because we got cash sitting around. Nah, you never do that. This real business. This real business is gonna affect everybody that you involved with, your family and everything. If you put a bag up, put some money up there, and your money and everything fails and it's on you or the next person, you need to be able to say, look, if it came down to litigation, this is how we would handle it. That's on your operator's agreement, y'all. That's on black and white. I don't care how much I trust you as a person, as a friend. We need documentation if we're going to go into business. If you can't give me documentation or we can't do documentation, it's not that you can't be friends with that person. It's not that, it's a bad idea to work with them. It's just, it doesn't make sense from a financial aspect because you have no security. My security is not just word of mouth. Them days is over. Them days is over. I can shake your hand, but at the end of the day, if you make a mistake that costs me $15,000, $20,000, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna cut it. It's just not that. I can't. What I'm gonna do? I'm sorry, I'm down 20 bands. What am I gonna do with that? I can't do anything with it. So when we talking about group economics with the people that I work with and the people that I advise, I say, man, get everything down, write it down, every single thing that you could think of, and then agree to it before you get started. Because if you agree to it in the beginning, you can't have those people to be like, man, you never said that. Show me a text message. I know y'all been through it. It could be over $20. Man, I didn't say I was going to give it back to you. I just said, I needed it. I didn't know you needed it when you gave it to me. Oh, you didn't assume that I wanted my money back when I gave it to you. That's why you eliminate all of that before you get into business, because we ain't just talking about favors. We talking about business. Now, eventually, my one partner in this practice, or I guess whatever you call it, because I ended up having to do the business on my complete own because they couldn't work together. They couldn't figure out their own differences. And I said, well, look, I can't just kick one person off, because my one partner was like, hey, let's vote them off. So in my operator's agreement, I said, the majority vote can remove a member. Right? In my operator's agreement, I had that. Majority vote can remove a member. But I also set my operator's agreement where as though they can never have more than my vote. My vote is worth more than both of those because I started the company. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I started the company, so I bringing people in. I always have the majority vote, and the majority vote always wins. That's a tidbit for the people that's doing group economics. When y'all get in with these people and y'all trying to do business, make sure your operator's agreement has you with the leverage. If it's your company and your idea, you the visionary, because we ain't even get into visionaries and integrators, because that's a part of group economics as well. But again, that partnership had to be dissolved. We made some good money. I learned a lot. But for the people that's just getting into group economics, here's the example that I used for my little brother that came to me with his friend that got drafted, to play college football. They wanted to get into short-term rentals. Now, short-term rentals, for the people who don't know that phrase, that's Airbnb, that's VRBO. For the people, here's another one for you. They actually rent RVs out there now. They rent RVs for the people who don't know that. That's a good side hustle that nobody's on top of yet, renting RVs out to people, putting them in places where there are parks and camper areas. You just get an RV and then rent it out. They have different apps for that as well. But anyway, back to the suggestion that I had for my little bro. So it's three of them, three people. They said we have about, each one of us can put up $400 a month. I said, all right, that's beautiful. $400 a month, 4, 8, 12. It's $1,200 a month, right? He said, yeah. I said, $1,200 a month. How's everyone's credit? Because remember, the foundation is get the money first before you go into business, y'all. Get the money first before you go into business. Where you get the money from? Another sidetrack. I got some time. Tyler Perry. Y'all seen Tyler Perry? He got all those movie theaters. He's the first black man. He got the movie theaters, like 8 different hangars. He's got the biggest movie set in history, right? On this documentary, there was a man, and he said, It's crazy. He did this all with his own money. We couldn't believe it. He said he did this all with his own money. No one does that. We couldn't believe it. What is he saying? He's saying that nobody uses their own money in this game. And Tyler Perry used his own money. So congrats to him, but that's not what I'm advising y'all to do. I'm advising you to go to the bank and get their money and use their money to start your dreams and your businesses. Because everybody doesn't have the resources that he had, or, you know, the ingenuity. Not saying that you don't have the ingenuity, but it's just different circumstances. Like some people hit the lottery, some people don't. Some people hit the lottery back to back. Some people won't hit it in their whole life. So it's just different strokes with different folks. The path of least resistance when it comes to starting a business is always to get your credit right, your personal credit, and personal guarantee your business against your own credit. They're telling you a fast way around it to get a loan, all this XYZ. Don't do that. I'm going to teach you how to get your finances right, or you can follow my page. You probably already know. Some of y'all jump on my live and tell me all the time, I'm already working, Chris. What you got for me? And I say, man, congratulations. Keep rocking. We got some more information coming. But I told him, I said, get all of your credit right with the 1,200 first every month. It costs a certain amount to get credit repair, right? It costs a certain amount to get coaching. Free information online on how to manage your finances if you don't want to work with a financial advisor like myself. It's still information out there so you know how to move the money. But take your 1,200, fix the first person's credit. Keep saving y'all money, fix the next person's credit. Keep saving your money. Everybody will have great credit. Now that all three of y'all have good credit, we talking about group economics here, y'all. I'm giving you a good, easy way to get the bag when it comes to anything. Right now, they're talking about short-term rentals, Airbnbs. Now, all your credit is good. You can come to me, get funding. I usually get people 50 to 100,000 in funding. The first phase. If you can get it on your own, I'll tell you how to do it. Normally, we take those calls and people hop on the call. I give you some free game before I actually offer my services. We don't even have to talk numbers as far as paying me. I'm going to give you some, at least enough to get going. I mean, if you need help after that, then you can sign up. But all three of them, they get their credit together. Each one of them get 50,000 of their own from the business. When you get business credit, you don't have to co-sign with your other partners in the business. You can get your own line of credit under that business name from the same bank. So if it's three people, each one of them get $50,000. That's 150 grand. 150 grand is going to get you a lot of different units when it comes to Airbnb, and in which case that's rental arbitrage. But at the same time, I told him slow down, little bro. Before you go and get out of hand with it, you want to start slow. Get one space. Make sure that before you get your space, you set up your operators agreement so everybody knows what their part is in this whole entire shindig, right? So we got documentation. We got the funds to do business. Now we can actually attack doing the business itself. Figure out the A's and B's and C's, everything you need to know about the business in the first run before you ever think about expanding, right? They got the money. They got the documentation. They're in business. You know, of course, I'll coach you how to do Airbnbs because I had successful Airbnbs myself. We did the class where I got you funding, and then my partner helped you get your properties. But they can do it on their own. It's my little brother, so, you know, I got to help him out. He ain't got to pay, you know, like a lot of other people do. But once you get that first property, you back out, document everything that you did, how much you spent on it. Remember, we talked about CapEx and OpEx. How much does it cost to run each unit each month? How much does it cost to furnish each unit? How much does it cost to lease each unit? Now, once you get 2 or 3 of those under your belt, you can go to another landlord and you say, hey, I got 2 or 3 of these under my belt. What do I do now? You go to the landlord and you say, I got 2 or 3 of these. Will you give me 5 of them? Because that's what we do. You're trying to buy 5 to 10 units at a time. If you got $150,000 in credit, you don't need to ask nobody for no help. You done already did it successfully for at least 6 months to a year. All you got to do is rinse and repeat. That's business, y'all. That's group economics. Get the people you know that you can trust. Put together documentation on what you're going to do. Make sure everybody got good credit. Go to the bank, get separate credit each. Put the credit together enough to start and try it out so you can know if it fails or if it's successful. Because if it fails and you only did it on a small scale first, everybody take that money that you've been pooling together and you pay off the mistake that everybody made together. You don't jump out there and get, even if you were in the rental game, because I did Toro as well. If I was to jump out there and get 5-6 cars, or I'm going to go out and get a Maserati, I'm going to get a Benz, that would be foolish of me to do, because that's way more of a responsibility than me going out and getting an Acura or a Honda Accord or something at the beginning just to see if it works out. So when you're doing group economics, slow your roll, right? Slow your roll, even though you got your squad with you. That's ladies and gentlemen. You got the beehive with you got your homeboys with you, however you got it on both sides. Slow down when you first get into business so you can see what is the worst that can possibly happen. So you can prepare yourself for it when you multiply in the long run. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You're going to expand. You're going to be successful, but you will fail. You will fail in the process. You might get a bag out the front gate. It's going to be the biggest bag you ever seen. And then 2, 3, 4 months later or a year or two later, you might be in the hole 20, 30, 40,000. Right? Because we ain't even talking about the tax advantages of running a business. Because it's always, if you lose in business, that's a good thing. Because as long as you can show that you lost, Uncle Sam says it's a lot of pages in the IRS handbook that's going to say you took a loss. We got to give you your money back, or we take it from the amount of money you make in your job. That's another thing. Remember I told y'all, right? If you want to jump into business, it's easier to have a 9-to-5 that'll fuel your business versus trying to jump into a cold turkey. I don't care if you get up and go and work at Wendy's. You take your $15 an hour or your $10 an hour and you take that and you save up your bread to start your business. Don't let nobody get on your back, or if you feel bad about working a 9-to-5 just so you can fund your business. Nah, you take whatever money you can get to run your business in the beginning, because it's going to make you more desperate with your funds. You're not going to make these big decisions when you know you don't have a big bag to waste. But group economics, y'all, get it documented, get good credit, get everything going, try it out first, and then blow it out of proportion later on once you know that everything works. That's exactly what we did. I don't have a lot of the partners that I had in the beginning, but I do work with a lot of people now. Looking to expand in 2024. I said I wasn't ready before, but I got big plans, y'all. I got a lot of things coming. The course is coming, more information coming for y'all, but I think we're running out of time. So this is episode 13 of Pocket Watchers. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Again, you can catch the replay on YouTube, but it's your boy Treetop Chris checking in. Peace and love. You were just listening to Pocket Watchers, where we talk about nurturing wealth, cultivating the future through financial education. For more info, visit us at treetopfg.com or follow me on IG or TikTok at treetopchris_.